So this is the episode that we've been waiting for, Daredevil coming into the MCU. This is pretty much what everybody's been waiting for since the very first episode of She-Hulk, and Daredevil finally made his much anticipated entrance into She-Hulk episode 8. I did not watch the entire episode. I just watched the Daredevil scenes themselves. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I checked out of She-Hulk about 3 or 4 episodes ago. I believe I watched episode 5, but I checked out after episode 4. The show's not for me. If you're loving the show, then I'm happy that you're loving the show, and I hope you continue to enjoy the show. Not every series, not every movie is meant for all audiences. Sometimes a show or movie can resonate with you, and sometimes it doesn't. That's perfectly fine. We don't have to get mad. We don't have to get upset about it. So if you're enjoying She-Hulk, I'm glad you are, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. Me, I dropped out of it, but I was very interested in, of course, Daredevil making his return. And that was the thing that I tuned in for today, because I heard from everybody that this was the episode where I tuned in. So I tuned into it, and I just kind of like skimmed through Disney Plus the episode to see where he actually comes in. And I watched those scenes because I wanted to see how close this version of Daredevil is going to relate, or be compared rather, to the counterpart of the Netflix version, because there's a lot of speculation that these aren't the same characters. The Daredevil from Netflix is going to be a completely different character from the Daredevil that's now in the MCU. And from the get-go, what I've seen, you know, the overall premise of it, you see where he's more agile, he's doing more acrobatics and more flips and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that you would see in the comic book itself, he's doing more of those on the screen, which I really enjoyed. And another thing that I really enjoyed was that there's still glimpses of the darkness that we known from the Netflix version. If you can see the scene right here, this is like a hallway scene, and in this scene, he is much darker, much more brutal than the scene that we've seen before, where he's fighting Jen on top of the parking garage and stuff like that, where there was a lot of quips, a lot of jokes. I don't know how I feel about that per se, because we're just seeing a small glimpse of the character in this episode, so we're not really getting a deep dive in what he's been through, like what's going on. Is this sort of the same universe? Do they have the same characters? I do think it's a little telling that they still hasn't, Disney rather, and Marvel Studios still haven't announced that Foggy and Karen is returning yet. So and we got a whole new Elektra coming in it. So that tells me that this is not the Netflix version of Daredevil. So if they can keep the essence, and they did play a little bit of the music from the Netflix intro in this episode, which I really appreciated. But you can see where Daredevil is more agile. He's doing more flips, stuff that we did not see in the Netflix series, and I really enjoy them doing that, because that feels like Daredevil from the comic books. It did take me out of it a little bit when he was kind of joking around with Jen. But with that said, playing devil's advocate, no pun intended there, I really like the chemistry and the banter and the back and forth between Jen and Matt Murdock. I really, and of course, no spoilers, but okay, I guess I'm one spoiler. They definitely they hook up at the end of this thing. Like they got their thing on, ain't that right, Jimmy? Oh yeah, Daredevil got his little pitchfork wet, but yeah, and that's no surprise, to be honest with you. Matt Murdock is pretty much a male whore anyway in the comic books, and She-Hulk, she sleeps with everybody anyway in the comics too. So the fact that these two hook up, not surprising, but I really did enjoy the chemistry between these two, and I like how he is darker when he needs to be darker. That was something I really appreciated, because I didn't know how they were going to be able to handle that. Is this going to be just a lighter version, sort of like a cartoon version like we saw in Kingpin and the Hawkeye series? But they made Daredevil darker when he had to be darker, and that was something that I absolutely loved. I love the fact that he can be brutal when he needs to be brutal, and he comes out and he's messing up these. Like, look at that scene right there. Like, that is something that we would have seen in the Netflix series, and that's something that I really enjoyed. Yet he also has layers to where he can go in and still cut jokes and stuff with Jen. And that's going to be something that we're going to have to get used to. You know, with him making those jokes, being a more lighthearted. You know, he's been at this for a while, whether you want to count the Netflix series or not. You know, he's been Daredevil for a while. So maybe he's lightened up a little bit over time, and that gives him a more comedic tone to his character, which I think is fascinating. So overall, I can't judge the episode because once Daredevil and Jen hooked up and he started walking away, which was hilarious, by the way, I shut the episode off. I really do not have any interest in the show itself, for many different reasons that I will not discuss here. But again, if you're enjoying the show and you're having fun with the show, then I'm happy that you're enjoying it and to continue enjoying. I'm enjoying Andor, and I know a lot of people that doesn't like Andor, that they think it's boring. I'm loving Andor. I think it's the best Star Wars thing Disney has done since Rogue One. But yeah, so everything is subjective. Everybody has their own tone. Ain't that right, Jimmy? I mean, Jimmy likes to go into trash and the junkyard and just roll around. You know how most people have sleds and they go down, like mountains of snow. This dude does it in the junkyard. I mean, look at him. He had the time of his life when he goes to the junkyard. That's why you can't get rid of those damn flies, Jimmy. You got to work on that, buddy. Work on it. So anyway, guys, Daredevil, he's finally here. Oh, Jimmy, what? He's happy. Yeah, Daredevil's here, motherfucker. Yeah, Daredevil is finally here, and I want to know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy the appearance? Was it worth the wait of 8 episodes to get to this? Please, guys, leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.